Financial G-Spot. I'm Robin Crane, and this show is all about finding that specific area that you need to focus on so you can have the life of your dreams. And I'm so excited because I have these incredible people here today, Jarek and Amanda Robbins. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Gosh, I want to tell them about you guys. You're best-selling authors and lifestyle entrepreneurs, and I know you dedicate your lives to really helping others create lives that they love. Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
And I wanted to bring you on the show, and thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you guys. I know you're super, super busy, but I wanted to bring you on because you're newlyweds, and money is the #1 cause of divorce, as you probably know. So I know so many of our viewers out there are just wondering, well, what can we do? What are some of the strategies that we can implement to make sure that money doesn't ruin our relationship? So you're just starting out. You look like you're all happy in love. Can you tell us a little bit about you guys and maybe even how you met, and then some of the things that have come up for you?
Sure. Well, first off, we're damn proud that we have the type of love that even when we're traveling around the world, I think one of my favorite things is we were coming back into the U.S. and we both have global entry, so we went through the fast line. We both went to separate machines, took pictures, got the little guy, handed him our little thing with a picture, and he held them up and he's like, "Oh, look at you two, all fucking happy and stuff." And we looked at each other, we were laughing, we looked at each other, we were both making silly faces at the camera after an 11-hour flight around the world.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
We're passionate to have that kind of love that we can make officers sick at staring at it. But we enjoy ourselves, we travel all around the world, and money specifically, when thinking about the topic, we know that it's something that so many people say it's the #1 cause of divorce.
Right.
I don't think money is. Physical pieces of paper is not the cause of divorce. People's experience of what money means, what it is to them, what you do with it, how much you're supposed to have, how much you're not supposed to have, what do you do when you run out, what do you do when you have too much. That's what causes divorce. And so our very first few weeks together, I'm trying to remember when we did it, just a few weeks after we got married, we sat down and we wrote down everything we believe about money separately. So when we believe about it, what do you do with it? Where does it come from? Where does it go? How much are you supposed to have? How much you're not supposed to have? What's everything that goes around money, from how you share it with others? What's the long-term purpose of it? All the questions we could come up with on our own, we wrote them all down, and then we went up to our own separate space in the house and we answered them.
Where'd you get those questions? Is that just something you came up with together, or did you just say, just think of whatever comes to mind?
No, I had a head start. I've been to a few seminars on money myself.
Yeah.
So listening to all the seminars, we took that as a base. And then we said, well, what else is important about money? And we wrote down all the questions together. So we came up with questions that we thought were interesting about money.
Awesome.
And after writing them all down, we went and answered them all ourselves.
Uh-huh.
And after answering them, we got together and we had quite the experience. I think it was funny. If you can remember, I said, money comes from, and I shared this word, and she looked at me and was like, really? Interesting.
It was quite different.
And do you remember what it was?
What was the word?
His idea of where money came from was it came from everywhere. It's always there. It's abundant. You can get it from anywhere you want, or it's all around you, and it's there whenever you need it. And I was like, absolutely, it comes from anywhere. What are you talking about? And mine was you have to work really hard for it. You have to bust your tail. You have to hustle, and that's where you make money. That's how you make money. It's like a reward for hard work. The beautiful part, and something to add to what Jarek was saying, was when you said, where did we come up with this? We're really good at when we notice any area of our relationship where we have quite different views or maybe beliefs or ideas of it, we often talk through it. Like, hey, why do you think that? Or I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but so with the blueprint, that was something naturally because our ideas of money are so different.
Wow.
So it was a given that we would talk about at some point. And like he said, it comes from anywhere. And for me, it was like you bust your tail and you work hard. And what we found out was that obviously that will create a very different experience with money and stress.
What you do with it, how you use it, what it's for. And that's something that, like she was saying, there's some key points of relationship, and money is one of them. Another one is time.
Right.
How much is a long time? How much is a short time? What do you do with it? What happens when you're late? Are you allowed to be late?
Right.
What does on time mean?
So there's all these rules that we have in our heads, and then you get together with this person and we just expect, okay, we love each other, it's just going to work out, we have maybe similar ideas of what we want for the future, but most people won't talk about those beliefs or those rules and the expectations.
And it's not that they won't talk about them, most people don't even know they have them.
Or they bend and change so much to impress a person that, like a rubber band, eventually you can only bend so much before you snap back to your original shape, right? So that's another issue too.
And there's an old thing when people first get in relationships, it's really entertaining. It's basically a couple of liars and actors getting together to see how well they can lie and act to each other to put on a performance of a frickin' lifetime to get the attraction from the other person.
Right.
And it's all bull. And so one thing that's really important when you get together, talking about, having the ability to be on the same page, is cut the BS. Cut out the belief system that says you have to show up and be this special, unique, perfect version of yourself.
Right.
You don't have to dress up. You don't have to present yourself in some way. And, guys spend the money they don't have to impress a woman, hoping that they'll pay attention long enough that he can keep her. And the truth is, what they're really missing at that aspect, just to go on the relationship side, is they're aiming for the wrong person at the wrong time in their life. There's a stage a woman goes into where when she gets out of it, she becomes the right fit. And it's vital to understand.
I want to hear more about that. We're going to cut to a break in just a sec, but I also want to give a gift. So those of you watching, you guys have an amazing product called the Ideal Day Design Kit. Ideal Day Design Kit, you can find that at financialgspot.com/JR for Jarek Robbins. Go to financialgspot.com/JR to get the Ideal Day Design Kit. We'll see you right back after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the Financial G-Spot. I'm Robin Crane, and again, I'm here with Jarek and Amanda Robbins, and such a pleasure to have you guys. And we're talking about love and money. And I love what you guys said just in regards to, Jarek, you mentioned this, it's not money that breaks up relationships. I use that all the time too, but really when it comes down to it, there are these deep-seated issues that come from people's beliefs about money. And so I love the advice you just gave, that one of the best things you can do, whether you're about to get married or whether you just got married or whether you've been in a relationship for 30 years or 50 years, it's never too late to just capture a bunch of questions. What do you believe to be true about money? What's important about money to you? What do you think, how much should we make? What should we do with it? How much should we give? All those questions are great, and you can come up with those questions yourself and to go on your separate ways to answer those questions and come back together. So I'm kind of curious, you mentioned that you guys, when Jarek said, oh yeah, money is everywhere, this real abundant mentality, and then Amanda, you said, well, I was thinking it's really hard to make, and I came from more of that background, Amanda. Did you have were you excited to hear that he felt that way? Were you worried? Was a part of you, what did you guys need to talk about from that?
That's such a great question. So in that idea, and I just want to clarify, it wasn't that it was hard to make, it was that you have to work hard.
Okay, see, I'm even bringing my beliefs into it. That's probably because my belief is it's hard to make money.
That's the beautiful part about it. So I knew that it wasn't that hard, you just have to hustle. So the work ethic is there. With him, it was hearing such a different perspective on it. I always think is really beautiful. And it's one of the things I love about us is that we always, we talk a lot, we communicate a lot, and we learn so much from each other and really give another perspective that opens our eyes and really takes away any limits probably that we ever possibly put on ourselves. So I would say that in hearing his very abundant mentality, which I just thought was incredibly beautiful, I was like, wow, how much easier would my life be if I didn't think I just had to hustle, work. That would be beautiful. So I personally, to completely go in not the opposite direction, but in a totally different direction, and just completely,
embrace it.
That belief. Sorry, go with that was a little challenging. So I did baby steps. I was like, you know what? It's not hard to make. Maybe you don't have to work so hard. Maybe the belief that it is everywhere and it will come to you is a much better and less stressful belief. So because I would find myself there, he knows, I would get a little stressed, not a little, a lot stressed over work, and we got to hustle, we got to hit these goals. So, kind of biting onto that belief a little bit gave me much more freedom and less stress.
Got it.
There's another piece to it, which is that's the belief I have now at this moment of life. That wasn't the belief I always had throughout life. So another point that people want to do, especially as couples, is figure out what are all the beliefs you've ever had about money along your journey. Because there was a stage in my life when I had no money, and I was living in the front end of a house with a curtain as a door, and I had a laptop and a dream of having my own business. And money didn't come from everywhere. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I had no money, and it came from nowhere. And so it came down to, shit, man, like, where does money come from? I'm curious. I have no freaking clue where it's at. If I knew where it was at, I would be there.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, money comes from, I have no clue. All I got to do is work my face off, and hopefully something will show up. So that was an old belief I had, because that was the real experience I had at that moment of my life. And what happened was, over the years, that transition between, you know, money, I have no clue where it is, to I know where it's at, and it's when I do these rituals, that's when money shows up. To eventually I worked through the like crazy stressed out work stage. Eventually I got to the like abundant stage where I'm like, shit, man, I know it works. I'm kicking ass at it, and I know what creates money in life, and it comes effortlessly because I know where it is in abundance, and it's everywhere, and I know how to tap into it.
That's
and
awesome.
That's mindset. That doesn't mean physically money sitting everywhere, although what it's entertaining is if you walk around our house, we do leave little chunks of money everywhere for some reason.
Just to remind yourself, there's abundance everywhere.
Exactly, it's everywhere. And I just remembering upstairs, you walk around, there's
like a couple, I don't know
there's
why.
little piles of money randomly.
You better watch out if I'm ever in your house, because my husband and I are money magnets, you know, so we'll just start ching-ching, cha-ching, 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 picking up everything we get. I'm a money magnet. I'm sure you've heard that.
So that's the other thing they want to do, is not only figure out what beliefs they have right now about money, what are all the historical beliefs they've had in their mind and that exist within their family.
Right.
The other things they have is people treat money differently. I've run into couples in relationships where there was a power struggle, where someone was mentally, emotionally, physically abused by another, and so their way of taking control is by taking control of the money. Meaning if they can out-earn the other person, they can control them because they have the power, per se.
So what advice would you give? Like, how do they deal with that? Because I absolutely think that's one of the major issues that does come up. So what can they do about it?
So first off, the illusion that money is power is ridiculous. It really is. I mean, if you think money is power, what the hell is Mother Teresa doing? Because she's probably one of the most powerful, human beings on earth in her time, and still throughout history, people still refer to her. Yeah. And she wasn't doing it with money. She was doing it with love. I mean, if you think money will bring a man to his knees, watch what love and passion does to a man. It's true.
Right.
You got to look a little bit deeper and figure out what real power is. Redirect that. We have this illusion, thanks to television and thanks to the media, that the money is what controls everything on earth, and it's not true whatsoever. Right. You can take someone in love, and they do some really stupid things with money. And you got to think, love is one of those international words that I've spoken in Kuwait to the Ministry of Oil, to Dubai, to China and U.S. and like everywhere. I've gotten the privilege to speak all over the world. And no matter where you go in the world, the one thing that holds weight everywhere is love. People certainly understand the concept of money. They work their asses off for it. But love changes everything.
Wow.
So when you find a place that people are struggling over power, they're focused on the wrong shit in their life and relationship at that moment. They need to redirect their focus and get focused on love. And love will melt them back together as human beings to the point that nothing else will matter. At that point, seeing each other through the lens of love, they'll be able to then diagnose what's going on with money and power in our lives. And instead of focusing on how do I get it from you, it'll be focused on how do I give it to you.
Right.
Nothing more that I want. When I feel fully loved, I want to give her every penny I have. I want to give her all the love I have. I want to give her all the support I have.
Yeah.
If I feel empty, if I'm not doing something to fill up and fuel up every day, I'm trying to take from her, and vice versa. So the biggest thing someone needs to do is learn how to fill themselves up with that love and whatever emotions they need so that they can abundantly overflow and give to the people around them.
Absolutely. In any argument, when it comes to money, if you're feeling judged or you're judging the other person, if you can just bring love first, then the other stuff starts to disappear. I got to take a quick break. Again, you're watching the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network. Welcome back. You're watching the Financial G-Spot, and my husband had to get in on this. You get so jealous, honey.
I know.
It's okay. We're just hanging out.
But you're connected with these guys. I heard, actually, you guys were just talking about love and about how that's such an international language. And I remember a mastermind group that I was in a long, long time ago, and the millionaire I wasn't making great money at the time. We had one millionaire in the group, and he led the call one week, and he said, the secret to wealth is love. And I was like, man, I can do anything, like, don't tell me love, that's not it. And he goes, look, everything I do, if I start a business, I love what I'm doing. And if I find someone to work for me, I always want to find someone who loves what they do so they do their best. And so at the time, I was completely calling bullshit. But I wanted to hear what you thought about that, because you're on this tirade about love, and if you've seen that show up.
Sure. What's really entertaining is people come all the time when we get emails. It's like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you have anything to do? And I always write back. I'm like, well, what are you absolutely over the moon, passionate about, in love with in your life, and unbelievably talented at? I need the combination of the two. I don't need just what you're good at and you hate it, and I don't need what you love, but you're suck at it. You're good at it and love it.
Right.
And if you can tell me those two things, I'll tell you if we need help with that.
I love it. All right.
What's funny is they'll tell me those two things, and I'm like, great, now go find who has that space available.
Yeah, that may or may not be you.
Because my belief is the same. If people are doing what they love in life and what they're really talented at, and they mix that together, they'll do unbelievably well at anything. Because they'll have what it takes to make it through the hard times. So coming back to relationship and love, when you have that passionate love with each other and you build it daily, a financial issue comes up and you storm through it like it's a freaking mini speedball. If you don't have that, a little tiny hiccup comes up and it flattens you both as a relationship. The example we always give is kind of like a soda can. Yeah. If you take a soda can and you crack it open and you pour it out and you hand the can to a small child, a little tiny kid can crush the thing or dent it or smush it with his hands. Now, if you take the same can, you fill it all the way up, you pressure seal it and hand it back to the child, the kid's not going to stand a chance at denting it or even crushing it with his bare hands. Now, a grown adult can, a bodybuilder can, if you want to see something cool, Google it on YouTube. But a little kid won't stand a chance against the can because there's so much pressure pushing out, the pressure pushing in can't overcome it. And we always say that's the same thing with love and relationships. If you built so much awesomeness from within, love, caring, the right foundational beliefs that you agree with each other, the right daily habits, some of the habits and rituals we do, we track our spending daily. We forecast what's coming in. We know what's going out. Any big expenses, we talk to each other about. Like we vocalize, we communicate through this process called money, and it allows us to have the right habits that builds up so much awesomeness within that when all the pressure starts squeezing down from the world, we're pressurized, we're pushing it out, we're filled up and fueled up every day.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love the tips as something like that everyone could apply. It's just so crazy how we haven't been taught this. No one really sat us down to say, hey, this is why these tips are so great. Do these things. So you're giving really practical advice. Amanda, from your perspective, from the woman's perspective, what do you think like a woman's biggest challenges? And I know one thing that I get is, well, maybe they don't communicate with their spouse and they say, well, how do I bring it up? That's one of the things. How would you address that, or maybe other issues that you can think of that women have trouble with?
I would throw one thing in there that's unique. When we met each other, she was a badass businesswoman doing amazing things in her field, just crushing it. So when we started working together and then married and then sharing that side of our lives together, there was a bit of a transition for her of like, wow, okay, I've always been the type of woman that if I want something, I go get it. I make it myself. And now to have to count on someone else was quite the experience.
Yeah, it was quite the experience.
It's a bit of a
I think, so on that note, actually, I feel like I might have, okay, yeah, so on that note, I would say the biggest challenge was truly having faith in your significant other to know it's all going to be okay. And as long as you have love as the foundation of your relationship, you can get through anything, whether it be financial, health related, whatever it is. It has to start with love. And so with that, I kept going back to that, like, and leaving this huge marketing agency I was at, having a really nice paycheck, and saying, okay, forget it, and going straight into my bank account and all that jazz. Now we're sharing it, we're working together in this business, and I love it. I couldn't be happier. There were definitely times in the beginning that were challenging, and it was interesting because it was like, now I have to share everything that I want to spend my money on. So for many women, I would say that transparency of where you spend your money and what on. And it's what a guy wants and what a girl wants and what they do with their money might be completely different. And you have to just trust each other and why you do what you do, and be very open and transparent about it and sharing. So that's a huge part, communicating. And the second is having faith and trust. And I think that means so much. It speaks volumes to your man, just to have that faith in him, that you trust that he's going to make it happen. He's going to take care of you. He's going to provide. He's going to protect you. And there's nothing you have to worry about. And I would say that for many women, they worry that maybe, what if it doesn't work? What if that big deal doesn't come through? Where's the money going to come from? And they freak out, and then they take it out on him. And that's actually totally counterproductive, and tears the relationship and him down. So for me, it was just have faith in him and know that he's going to make it happen. And he always has. And every time I have gone, have faith, show him love, we pull through every single time and have done amazing things in our business.
And was it hard for you, like that? Because it sounds like you were really successful. Obviously, Jarek even said you were making good money and you were doing well in your own right. Was it hard for you to even to give up that control to a certain degree?
I love love, and I'm a hopeless romantic, and we'll be together for eternity, forever. So for me, it was, what do you want more? Do you want to feel so significant and in control and in power? Or do you want like this rich and deep and everlasting love? And that was far more important. So I quickly just let that go and was like, I'm all yours. We got this. I believe in you. So you have to prioritize what's most important.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And I can tell like you're so passionate about that. You're getting a little choked up about it, because it's true. Like people will hold on to the power, like you said, Jarek, that doesn't even exist. And people will hold on to their beliefs that also don't exist because they're just made up. They're not real. And you mentioned that you have old beliefs and new beliefs. And so they're constantly changing. And it's just a decision to make whatever belief you want to be true. So I think that's such valuable information. Are there any like last bits that you want to share, either challenges that you've had that you've gone through? I mean, it's pretty obvious how you get through any challenge is love, which I think is the best advice possible. But is anything that you want to share before we say goodbye?
The most important part.
He does everything for me.
The most important part I would tell people is, and this is another factor besides just love, because love can be esoteric to people where they're like, oh, thanks, that was worth nothing. I'll give you a hard way to put it. Design the type of day-to-day life that you wouldn't trade for any amount of money. Meaning, no matter, I mean, someone could write a check with more zeros than your imagination could ever hold. And some people out there listening being like, my imagination can hold a lot of zeros, bro. So I get it. But imagine designing the day-to-day life, where you'd wake up, who you'd be with, where you'd go, how you'd feel, what you'd do, so that if you were to die at the end of that day, you know in every ounce of who you are as a man or woman, that was worth it. You lived, you loved, you mattered, you made a difference. People will remember you. You will have a lasting impact on this planet long after you're here physically, and your legacy will live on. Design the type of life, the type of day-to-day life that's so rich, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that money doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And they have a tool for that. Thanks to you, they have a tool for that. And again, go to financialgspot.com/JR. You can also find a ton of amazing nuggets and value on your website at JarekRobbins.com. And if you haven't read the book yet, I want to give one more. Best-selling authors, again, Live It, Achieve Success by Living with Purpose. There's so much value you guys give to everybody, you know, so many people every single day. And I just want to thank you from my end and from our audience. We're really grateful to have you guys here, and so nice to see such love, living it, not just talking about it. Here's our part of our family. Our daughter's not here right now. But thanks again to you guys.
In photos, I can see her.
Oh yeah, she's here in the background. Well, thank you guys so much, and to all of you out there, make sure you put love first so that you can have a lasting, passionate relationship. Thanks again for joining us. This is the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm Robin Crane. Bye.